There comes a moment in every life when the whisper of destiny becomes too loud to ignore, a pull so deep inside you that staying still becomes more painful than moving forward. That's when you know you have been called to conquer. The call is greater than your comfort. You see, comfort is a beautiful prison. It feels safe, it feels familiar, but it is not where your future is waiting. The call on your life will stretch you, test you, and sometimes terrify you. But if you only move when it's easy, you'll never access the life that's been written for you. The uncomfortable places are the places of expansion. Lean into them. You are equipped even in your brokenness. Too often we think we must be perfect to be powerful, but the truth is, it's your cracks that let the light shine through. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are the proof that you survived. You were shaped by every challenge, every failure, every heartbreak, and through it all, you gained tools you didn't even realize you were collecting. You have everything you need inside of you. Trust that. Vision requires discipline, not just desire, wishing, hoping, and dreaming will not be enough. Conquering is not an accident. It's the product of habit, structure, and sacrifice. Vision sets the destination, but discipline builds the road. Every day you choose between what you want now and what you want most. Winners choose purpose over pleasure. Resistance is confirmation, not rejection. When the resistance comes, and it will come, do not shrink back. Resistance is not proof that you're on the wrong path. It's proof that you're carrying something powerful enough to threaten the status quo. If there were no giants in the land, it wouldn't be called conquering, it would be called vacationing. Take the fight as a sign that you're exactly where you need to be. Your identity must evolve to match your destiny. You cannot walk into a new season wearing the clothing of your old struggles. Growth demands that you shed the false identities, the limiting beliefs, and the baggage that no longer serves you. Transformation is not optional, it is essential. You must become the version of yourself that your calling requires. Victory is won first in the spirit, then in the physical. Before you see it with your eyes, you must see it with your spirit. Before you walk into it, you must believe it in your soul. Speak life over your dreams. Speak strength over your journey. Speak victory over your battles. When your spirit is fortified, your actions align, and the world cannot help but catch up to what you already know deep down you were called to conquer. You are not dreaming in vain. You have been chosen, prepared, refined, and positioned for such a time as this. Rise up, warrior. Answer the call. Conquer the ground beneath your feet, because you were never meant to survive. You were meant to win. There comes a point in your life when comfort can no longer be your destination. Comfort feels good. It's familiar. It's predictable. You know the routine, the environment, and the outcomes. You know what to expect because you've lived it again and again. But when a greater call begins to stir inside of you, comfort becomes a trap rather than a gift. Comfort becomes the very thing that holds you back from the future you were designed to walk into. Comfort begins to taste bitter because deep down, you know you were made for more. You were created for expansion, growth, and impact, not for cycles of sameness. The call on your life is always greater than your comfort. The call will always demand something from you that comfort cannot provide. Comfort protects your current identity, but calling pulls on the future version of you. Comfort says, stay where it says. Move even when it's scary. Comfort asks you to maintain what you have. Calling dares you to step out and risk it all for what you could become. There is no way to answer your calling and hold on to your comfort at the same time. One will always have to die for the other to live. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Many people stay stuck because they believe that discomfort is a sign they are on the wrong path. But in reality, discomfort is often the evidence that you are exactly where you need to be. When you start to stretch beyond what you know, when you start to reach for something bigger than you've ever held, when you begin to walk on water where you used to cling to the shore, that's when you know the call is working in you. The tension you feel is not your enemy, it's your confirmation. When you are called to conquer, you must expect discomfort. It is part of the package. Every great leader, innovator, or change maker in history had to leave the security of what was familiar to embrace the unknown. They had to say yes to becoming uncomfortable. They had to be willing to be misunderstood, judged, doubted, and even rejected. But they understood something deeper. The calling was never about their comfort. It was about their contribution. It was about the people they were meant to inspire, the lives they were meant to touch, and the world they were meant to change. The temptation to cling to comfort is powerful because comfort offers the illusion of control. When you stay where you are, you feel like you can predict the outcome. You feel like you're in charge, but real power is found in surrender, surrendering the need for control and trusting the process of becoming. Trusting that the same force that called you is the same force that will equip you, sustain you, and carry you. Answering the call requires courage because you will not have all the answers in advance. You will not see every step before you start walking, but if you wait for certainty, you'll miss destiny. The call requires you to stretch. Stretching is uncomfortable. Stretching feels awkward, but stretching is necessary. When you stretch, You create new capacity within yourself. You discover strength you didn't know you had. You uncover resilience that was hidden beneath layers of fear and hesitation. Every time you say yes to the call, even when you're afraid, you are expanding your ability to carry more, to lead more, to influence more. And that is what conquering is about. It's about expanding territory within and without. Do not let comfort convince you to shrink your dreams. Do not let familiarity talk you out of pursuing the extraordinary. If you were supposed to stay where you are, you would not feel the stirring inside you. That restlessness you feel is holy. That dissatisfaction with where you are is sacred. It is the signal that your life is calling you forward. It is the echo of greatness trying to find a voice through you. You are not here just to exist. You are here to evolve. You are here to elevate. You are here to break patterns, to set new standards, to pioneer new paths. And every ounce of discomfort you experience along the way is proof that you are stepping out of limitation and into liberation. The call is greater than your comfort because the purpose on your life is too big to fit inside the small spaces where fear wants to keep you. The next time you feel uncomfortable, remember this. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. You are not losing control, you are gaining capacity. The discomfort you feel today is making room for the destiny you will walk in tomorrow. Do not bow to comfort when you have been crowned for conquest. Step forward, embrace the stretch, answer the call. There is a lie that tries to settle deep inside the hearts of those who have been through pain, rejection, mistakes, and failures. It whispers that brokenness disqualifies you. That until you are completely healed, completely whole, and perfectly polished, you have no right to step into purpose. That lie is designed to paralyze you because if you ever realized how powerful you are, even in your brokenness, you would become unstoppable. The truth is, you are equipped even while you are still healing. You are ready even while you are still learning. You are called even while you are still growing. Your brokenness is not a barrier to your purpose, it is a bridge. The cracks in your life are not the evidence of weakness, they are the evidence of survival. Every scar you carry is a reminder that you endured what was meant to destroy you. You didn't come through it perfect, but you came through it prepared with wisdom, prepared with empathy, prepared with strength that cannot be learned in a classroom or borrowed from someone else's experience. You earned your voice, you earned your insight. You earned your anointing. The weight you carry now is a direct result of the battles you have survived. And while you may still feel the achy of those battles, you must understand that the presence of pain does not negate the presence of purpose. Waiting until you feel flawless is a trap. It is a delay tactic that fear uses to keep you silent, to keep you hidden, and to keep you doubting yourself. Purpose does not wait for perfection. Destiny does not require a spotless record. What destiny demands is a willing heart and a resilient spirit. You do not need to be without flaws to be powerful. You only need to be willing to move forward with your flaws in full view, trusting that the one who called you is greater than the mistakes that tried to define you. Every experience you have walked through, the victories and the defeats, has been a form of training. When life broke you, it also built you. When you lost, you learned. When you were betrayed, you discovered who you are when everything else falls away. Those lessons are tools you now carry, tools that make you a force to be reckoned with. You are not lacking. You are not unprepared. You are a living, breathing testimony that brokenness and greatness can exist in the same person. The beauty of brokenness is that it removes the illusion of self-sufficiency. When you have been broken, you know you can no longer rely solely on your own strength. You are forced to tap into something deeper, something higher, something divine. Brokenness teaches you how to depend on grace. It teaches you that your gifts are not a reflection of how good you are, but of how faithful your calling is. You don't have to have it all together to be chosen. You simply have to say yes. If you wait for all the pieces of your life to be perfectly arranged, you will miss the moments you were meant to rise. Some doors only open when you walk toward them in faith, carrying your brokenness like a badge of honor instead of a chain of shame. There are people connected to your obedience who are not looking for a perfect leader. They are looking for someone real, someone who has lived through what they are living through, someone whose testimony shows that survival is possible, healing is real, and victory is inevitable. Your brokenness does not disqualify you, it equips you. It gives you language for the hurting, strength for the weary, and hope for the hopeless. You know what it feels like to be in the dark, so you can lead others toward the light. You know what it feels like to be overlooked, so you can recognize the overlooked and pull them into purpose. You know what it feels like to fail, so you can teach others how to rise after the fall. Everything you thought would destroy you has only deepened your ability to serve, lead, and conquer. It is not your perfection that makes you effective. It is your perseverance. It is your ability to show up anyway, to speak anyway, to believe anyway. Even with a limp, you are powerful. Even with unanswered questions, you are necessary. Even with a past that others may try to use against you, you are undeniable. Your calling was never fragile. It was never conditional. It was never based on a perfect story. It was always based on a greater glory working through your imperfect life. So do not hide your brokenness. Bring it with you. Carry it into every room, every assignment, and every opportunity. Let it remind you that you are not here because you are flawless. You are here because you are faithful, and that is more than enough. Vision alone is not enough to change your life. Dreams alone will not transform your future. There are millions of people who have powerful visions trapped inside of them, but are still living far below their potential. It's not because they didn't see it. It's because they didn't build it. It's because they mistook inspiration for transformation. They thought that a moment of excitement could carry them through a lifetime of discipline. But vision without discipline is a fantasy. It is discipline that turns dreams into reality. It is daily action, not occasional passion, that makes a conqueror out of a dreamer. Desire ignites the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. Desire can be powerful, but it is fleeting. It can rise quickly and fade just as fast. You can be motivated today and lose that motivation by tomorrow when challenges show up. You can be inspired by what you see, but if you are not committed to what you must do, inspiration will evaporate in the heat of resistance. Discipline, however, is the decision to show up even when the feeling has faded. Discipline is choosing long-term purpose over short-term pleasure. Discipline is what separates those who finish strong from those who barely start. There are seasons when the vision will feel exciting and fresh, but there are also seasons when the vision feels heavy, distant, and unclear. In those seasons, discipline becomes your anchor. Discipline reminds you that you didn't start because it was easy. You started because it was necessary. You made a decision to move, not because you always would feel like it, but because you were called to it. You understood that emotions are unstable, but purpose is eternal. Discipline keeps you building when the crowd is gone, when the applause fades, when nobody sees you, when you have every excuse to quit, but you refuse to let go. You must understand that desire asks, what do I feel like doing? But discipline demands, what must I do regardless of how I feel? The people who achieve extraordinary results are not necessarily the most talented or the most gifted. They are often the ones who mastered the art of consistency. They became consistent when it was boring, when it was lonely, when it was painful. They kept showing up because they understood that the reward is connected to the routine. They knew that progress is found in persistence. Vision without a plan becomes a weight instead of a weapon. You can have a vision so big that it intimidates you, but without a strategy, you will become overwhelmed instead of empowered. Discipline turns strategy into momentum. It breaks the vision down into manageable steps. It teaches you how to move one brick at a time. Big dreams are built in small daily decisions. The empire you envision is constructed by the disciplines you choose when no one is watching. You do not wake up one day and suddenly find yourself living your dream. You build your dream one day, one choice, one discipline at a time. There will always be distractions, opportunities to settle for lesser things, invitations to abandon the hard work and choose ease over excellence. But discipline trains your mind to recognize distractions for what they are, detours disguised as comfort. Discipline keeps your focus sharp. It teaches you to say no when everyone else is saying yes. It reminds you that temporary pleasure can cost you permanent purpose if you are not careful. Every time you say no to comfort and yes to calling, you are strengthening the muscles that will carry you to your destiny. It's important to understand that discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about loving your future enough to protect it from your impulses. It's about honoring the version of yourself that you are becoming by sacrificing for it today. Discipline says, I believe in the person I am becoming too much to betray them for momentary satisfaction. It is the highest form of self-respect. It is the purest act of self-love. Your vision is valid. Your dreams are divine, but they are waiting on your discipline to bring them into reality. No one else can do it for you. No one else can want it more than you do. No one else can sacrifice for it, fight for it, or endure for it on your behalf. You must choose discipline as your companion. You must decide that quitting is not an option. You must determine that no matter how long it takes, how hard it gets, or how many times you stumble, you will stay the course. Your future is not built in fantasies. It is built in faithfulness. Every decision you make in discipline is a brick laid on the road to your destiny. Keep laying bricks. Keep choosing discipline, because the vision you carry is too powerful, too sacred, and too necessary to be left unrealized. There is a moment on every journey where resistance shows up. It doesn't come lightly. It doesn't knock politely at the door. Resistance comes to push you, to test you, to see if you really believe what you say you believe. And so many people make the mistake of interpreting resistance as rejection. They believe that because it is hard, it must not be meant for them. They believe that because doors are slow to open, it must be a sign that they should turn back. But resistance is not a denial of your calling. It is a confirmation of it. It is the announcement that you are stepping into territory that matters. It is the evidence that you are close to something valuable. Nothing worth carrying, nothing worth building, nothing worth conquering will come without a fight. The very presence of resistance means that what you are reaching for carries weight. If there was nothing significant about your vision, you would not face opposition. Resistance is often a reflection of the threat your obedience poses to everything that has kept you bound. It is not punishment. It is proof that you are breaking barriers that were never supposed to contain you in the first place. It is the friction of chains snapping off your future. It is the shaking of old systems that no longer have the power to hold you. When you face resistance, it is easy to question yourself. It is easy to wonder if you misheard the call, if you made a mistake, if you should retreat to safer ground. But the truth is, resistance is a mirror showing you who you really are. It reveals the strength you didn't know you had. It reveals the endurance you didn't know you needed. It shapes you into the version of yourself that can handle the blessing you've been praying for, because the blessing is heavy. The promotion is weighty. The impact you are called to make requires shoulders that can bear pressure without collapsing. And resistance is the weight room where your strength is built. If you run every time you feel resistance, you will never see the fullness of what was prepared for you. You will keep starting over, mistaking opposition for a close instead of an open invitation to rise higher. Resistance does not mean stop. It means grow. It means dig deeper. It means build better. It means stand stronger. There are dimensions of your destiny that can only be accessed through persistence. There are victories that can only be claimed by those who refuse to surrender at the first sign of struggle. Think about a seed pushing through the soil. The soil resists the seed. It does not part easily. It does not roll out a red carpet and say, grow here. The soil pushes back. But the very act of the seed pushing through the soil strengthens its roots, anchors its foundation, and prepares it to sustain growth above ground. Without resistance, the seed would be too fragile to survive the storms ahead. You are that seed. The resistance is not blocking you, it is building you. Every time you feel like giving up because resistance feels overwhelming, remind yourself that pressure creates diamonds. Remind yourself that tension strengthens muscles. Remind yourself that every great story ever told included a battle that had to be fought and a mountain that had to be climbed. You are not an exception. You are a part of that same lineage of overcomers. You are built for the battles you are facing. You have been equipped for the walls you are called to break through. What feels like rejection is actually the training ground for your reign. Resistance is an announcement. It announces that the enemy recognizes the threat you are to the status quo. It announces that your voice matters, your vision matters, your life matters. It announces that the future you are building is powerful enough to shift atmospheres and change lives. If you were not dangerous to darkness, you would not be facing this fight. If you were not carrying something sacred, you would not be facing this storm. So stop viewing resistance as a reason to back down. Start viewing it as a reminder to stand up. When you face resistance, lean in. Press harder. Push further. Pray deeper. Declare louder. Because on the other side of resistance is revelation. On the other side of the pressure is the promise. On the other side of the fight is the fulfillment of everything you were called to conquer. The resistance you feel is not a sign that you are losing. It is a sign that you are closer than ever. It is a sign that you are touching new territory, unlocking new authority, and stepping into new levels of purpose. So do not turn back now. Embrace the resistance. Let it refine you. Let it build you. Let it prove to you that you are always stronger than the struggle. There is a dangerous myth that tries to convince us that greatness is a solo journey. That conquering is something you must do alone, isolated, hidden away from the world until you emerge victorious. But that is not how true victories are won. Isolation may feel safe, but it is not sustainable. You were never designed to carry your calling alone. Conquering requires community. It requires the right voices around you, the right hearts beside you, the right hands lifting you when you feel like collapsing. No matter how gifted, talented, or anointed you are, you will need people. You will need a tribe. You will need a community that understands your assignment and fights alongside you for its fulfillment. The weight of destiny is heavy. The demands of purpose can be exhausting. And without the right community, even the strongest can fall under the pressure. Isolation magnifies your weaknesses and silences your strength. It distorts your perspective and exaggerates your doubts. When you are isolated, every fear feels louder. Every insecurity feels larger. Isolation convinces you that you are the only one struggling, the only one questioning, the only one battling unseen wars. But community reminds you that you are not alone. It reminds you that your struggle is not unique, that your fight is not in vain, and that your victory is not yours alone to carry. You need people who can see the calling on your life even when you can't see it yourself. You need voices that will speak life over you when you are too weary to speak it over yourself. You need shoulders to lean on when your strength is drained. You need hands to hold you up when your knees buckle under the weight of the vision. Community is not a weakness, it is a weapon. It stretches you, it covers you, it speaks to the parts of you that still question whether you are truly called to conquer. There is power in unity. There is strength in agreement. When 2 or 3 gather in belief, mountains start to move. When a community stands behind you, pushing you toward your calling, hell has to back down. Darkness trembles not when one person stands alone, but when a tribe rises in unison. A tribe that understands that if one wins, we all win. A tribe that prays when you are silent. That fights when you are tired. That believes when you are broken. This is the kind of community that destiny demands. But you must choose your community wisely. Not everyone can carry the weight of your calling. Not everyone is assigned to your journey. You need people who can celebrate your wins without competing with you. People who can sit with you in your failures without judging you. People who can remind you who you are when life tries to convince you otherwise. Authentic community is not built on convenience. It is built on covenant. It is built on commitment, trust, and truth. It is built by people who are willing to walk through the fire with you, not just watch from a distance. Sometimes pride or fear will tell you to isolate, to handle it alone, to suffer in silence, to conquer in secrecy. But pride will leave you broken. Fear will leave you paralyzed. Isolation will leave you vulnerable to attacks you were never meant to face by yourself. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of wisdom. Opening your heart to community is not risky. It is revolutionary. It is the realization that you are not just building a personal empire. You are part of a kingdom movement, a collective conquering, a shared victory. Every conqueror has a community somewhere in the background. Even if you don't see them, they are there praying, pushing, encouraging, believing. Destiny is not a solo. This is not fulfilled in isolation. Every great move of transformation in history was birthed in community. Iron sharpens iron. Vision strengthens vision. Purpose fuels purpose. You were never meant to be an island. You were always meant to be a part of a greater body, connected to others who are running their race beside you. When you embrace community, you multiply your strength. When you lean into the right relationships, you accelerate your journey. When you allow trusted voices to speak into your life, you grow faster, you heal deeper, and you rise higher. Community protects you from the lies of loneliness. It reminds you that even in your darkest moments, you are seen, you are valued, and you are not forgotten. So do not hide, do not isolate. Find your people, build your tribe, open your heart to the community that is assigned to your calling. Because conquering was never meant to be a lonely road. It was meant to be a shared victory, a collective triumph. A glorious uprising of those who believe in something greater than themselves. There is a lie that lingers in the minds of those who have made mistakes, those who have fallen, those who carry the weight of regrets too heavy to speak aloud. It whispers that because of what you've done, because of where you've been, because of how you stumbled, you are disqualified from the future you once dreamed of. But that is not the voice of truth. That is not the voice of destiny. Your past does not cancel your calling. Your mistakes do not annul your purpose. Your brokenness does not disqualify you from greatness. In fact, your past often prepares you for the very thing you were created to conquer. You are not the sum total of your worst moments. You are not the labels that people tried to put on you when you were at your lowest. You are not the decisions you made when you didn't know better, when you were hurting, when you were lost. You are a story still being written. You are a masterpiece still in progress. What happened to you, what you did, even what you failed to do, none of it is powerful enough to erase the destiny that was spoken over you before you ever took your first breath. In fact, some of the greatest conquerors are those who first knew defeat. Some of the wisest leaders are those who first knew foolishness. Some of the strongest warriors are those who first knew weakness. Your past doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you with compassion, wisdom, depth, and authenticity. It gives you a testimony that can reach places polished perfection never could. It gives you a voice that resonates with the broken, the weary, the hopeless. It makes your calling relatable, not unreachable. The scars you carry are not signs of shame. They are signs that you survived. They are evidence that you faced the fire and lived to tell the story. They are proof that grace caught you when you fell. That mercy met you when you thought it was over, and that purpose still pursued you when you were running the other way. If your past had the power to cancel your calling, you wouldn't still be standing. You wouldn't still be breathing. The very fact that you are here is proof that the story isn't finished, that the calling still stands, and that there is still more for you to do. You have to make a decision. Will you spend your life imprisoned by shame, or will you step into the freedom that your calling demands? Shame will always try to keep you silent. It will always try to convince you that your voice doesn't matter, that your dreams are tainted, that your purpose is too far gone. But shame is a liar. Your story out over your calling was written in ink that failure cannot erase. Your destiny was sealed by a love that your mistakes cannot undo. It is not about being perfect. It is about being willing to rise again, willing to believe again, willing to step forward even while you are still healing. You must understand that redemption is not a secondary plan. It was always part of the original design. You were never expected to be flawless. You were expected to be faithful. faithful to keep moving forward, faithful to get back up, faithful to learn to grow, to allow what tried to break you to build you instead. Your past is not a chain meant to keep you bound. It is a testimony meant to set others free. When you walk in your calling despite your past, you give permission for others to believe that they can too. When you embrace your purpose despite your pain, you shine a light for others still trapped in their own shadows. Do not hide from your story. Do not minimize your journey. Every detour, every heartbreak, every wrong turn, it all has a place in the tapestry of your destiny. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is too broken for restoration. Your past may explain you, but it does not define you. Your calling defines you. Your purpose defines you. Your future defines you. You were called before you were hurt. You were chosen before you were broken. You were anointed before you were attacked, and none of what has happened since then has changed the original plan for your life. So walk boldly, speak freely, dream fearlessly, love deeply, build relentlessly. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are a carrier of purpose. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle. You are not disqualified. You are destined. Your past does not have the final say. Your purpose does. And today is another chance to step into the future that has been waiting for you all along. The world needs your voice. The world needs your story. The world needs your victory. You are called to conquer, not despite your past, but through it, because of it, and beyond it.